G'day everyone, it's Craig from Edible Gardens. I thought today I might show you a little bit about how to propagate things from cuttings. And look, I get a lot of emails from time to time telling me that you're not having great success. So I thought I'd just step through the process and give you some pointers maybe that may just make that difference between getting some success or not. I guess the first thing, and look, forgive me if I'm going to tell you the obvious, but some people, if I don't tell you, you won't know, and I won't know whether you're following the right thing. So when you fill up a small pot like this, and that's about the size I like to use to put cuttings in, make sure that you use a good seed raising mix. Don't be tempted to use your own soil. The other thing is, don't fill it right up to the top. Always fill a pot, even just for cuttings, or even when you're going to plant something in a pot, never ever go any higher than the little rim that's about, a centimetre or two down from the top of the pot. That's important. Make sure you firm the seed raising mix down so that it's nice and firm, so that when you put your cuttings in, they're going to stay put. The next thing, I suppose, is a razor sharp pair of secateurs. And you want to make sure that they're nice and clean, because if you've got any gum and so forth all over the blades, you're going to have disease and sap from other things that may be making the difference between you getting success or not. The other thing is some metho. Look, I'm sort of fastidious about this. I recommend that you use a little bit of metho, about 80% metho, 20% water in a spray bottle. A quick squirt will keep anything that's nasty on these blades quite clean. The other thing perhaps you might need to get yourself some of is Clonex. This is a hormone that actually helps and assists the cuttings heal over and form roots on the end of the stem. So look, it's not absolutely necessary. I've heard people say, oh, can you use honey? Well, you can, but it's a good waste of honey. Save that for your toast. Honey's a sterilant, not really a hormone, so you're better off to use the stuff that is meant for the job. You're also going to need what we call a dibble stick. Now that could be a nail, a twig. I use a screwdriver to be able to make a hole in the soil when I'm putting the cutting into the pot. Don't ever stick just the cutting by itself into the soil, because what will happen is that you'll foul and injure the bottom part of the stem of the cutting that you're making. I guess the next thing you're going to need is a label once you've done your cuttings, to make sure that you know what they are, write the date on them, and of course the most important thing is some plant material. Look, generally I don't take hardwood cuttings and I don't take softwood cuttings. I try and stick with semi-hardwood, which means that the tips generally I don't take. As you can see, they wilt pretty quickly, so you're better off to stay away from those. And when you're taking cuttings, it wants to be, that semi-hardwood feel about it. If you can't flex the stem, that's a hardwood cutting, and if it's really easy to bend, that's a softwood. So you want somewhere in the middle. So don't take the tips and don't take the real hardwood stuff. Now, when you cut, you need to make sure that you're making a diagonal cut just below the set of leaves, which is called a node. I'm going to strip those leaves off. You want the cutting to be around about 3 inches or about 75 millimeters. I would simply take off these lower leaves as well, and with my dibble stick make a hole, put the cutting down into it and just give it a firm up. Now you could fit probably somewhere in the order of about 30 or 40 cuttings in this one pot. So don't just put one per pot, put heaps in there. Hedge your bets a little bit. Make sure you put plenty of cuttings in if you've got the material, and that way you're more than likely to get a few at the very least. If you're doing the right thing, sterilised secateurs, using the Clonex, the hormone, you'll generally get a really good stock if you're selecting the right sort of material. I like to try and get around about 85 to 90% if I possibly can. So I hope this has helped you a little bit. Make sure that you water these in well. Don't let these dry out, but don't get them waterlogged either. Certainly do not put a saucer underneath them, otherwise they'll sit in water, and keep them out of the sun. Put them in some filtered light somewhere. Ideally, you know, if you've got an alfresco or a pergola of some sort, under there would be good, out of the wind, and let's see how you go. Please send me some photos or the emails of your success stories. Love to hear them. Bye for now.